All right, next is the mystery at Mouse House. I don't know if Charlotte remembers this, but Sam and Ellie, you should. Mystery at Mouse House. Oh, we loved this. Tiny Mouse played by the door of the mouse house. Father Mouse stood near her. I'm going to get some food for our Thanksgiving dinner, Father said. He ran into the kitchen and hid behind a table leg. There was a lovely brown bean on the floor. Quickly, he got the bean and took it back to the mouse house. That bean will be very tasty, said Mother Mouse. We will eat it with the raisins, carrots, and nuts we've been keeping for Thanksgiving Day. Hide the bean carefully, Mother told Father. Excuse me. Excuse me. We don't want to lose it. Someone took our bread last week. Father hid the bean. May I get some food for our Thanksgiving dinner, I said. Tiny asked. You may try, Father told her. Everyone in the big house is away. Tiny ran into the kitchen and hid behind the table leg. She saw a little piece of yellow cake on the floor. She ran to the cake and picked it up in her mouth and took it back to the mouse house. Cake will be a lovely dessert for our Thanksgiving dinner, Mother Mouse said. Now, Tiny, find a good place to hide it. Tiny hid the cake in a little box on the table. You see that? We've been working hard, Mother Mouse said. It's time to rest. Father lay down for a nap. Mother sat back in her chair and closed her eyes. Tiny played very quietly with her toys. It was very quiet in the mouse house. Suddenly, Tiny heard a noise. Someone opened their door. Tiny was too frightened to move. She saw a big black eye looking at her. Then the door closed as quietly as it had opened. Tiny tiptoed to the door and listened. She heard footsteps going down the hall. Maybe I can find out who has taken our food, she thought. I must not be afraid. Quietly, Tiny tiptoed outside. She looked around, but she did not see anyone. No one is here, she said. Then she saw an acorn shell. Lying on the ground. Tiny made a little boat. She sailed her boat on a big puddle. Tiny did not hear something tiptoe by her. Tiny, come here, said Mother. Someone has been in our house. Someone has taken our beans, said Father. I heard footsteps and saw a big black eye at the door, Tiny told them. That's who took our beans, said Father. I wonder who it was. The next day, the mouse family went to visit some friends. It was raining, so Mother took her umbrella. On the way home, they were careful not to step in any puddles. Father Mouse opened the door. Who's been in our house? Mother asked. I don't know, said Father, but whoever it was took our Thanksgiving dinner. All our food is gone. Now we'll have no Thanksgiving, cried Tiny. Look, Father said, here's a footprint. It's much bigger than mine. Here's a tiny piece of cake. Mother said, whoever it was left in a hurry. Who do you think it was? Let's find out. Whoever it was left something else too, said Tiny. She looked at some brown fur. Just then there was a loud knock on the mouse house door. It was a frightened Cousin Elmer. What's the matter? Asked Mother Mouse. Someone was hiding near your door, said Elmer. I was afraid it would follow me. What did it look like, Father? Asked. All I saw was a big black eye, said Elmer. What do you think it is? It must be our robber, Father said. We must try to catch it. Stay and help us, Elmer. What will we do? Asked Mother Mouse. You'll see, said Father. But first, let's eat supper. For supper, there were only a few crumbs of bread. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. We won't have any dinner, said Tiny. If we can catch the robber, we may get our dinner back, said Father. Father got a pan and filled it with cornmeal, and he stood on a little stool, and he placed the cornmeal above the door. What do you think that's going to do? Let's find out. When the robber opens the door, said Father Mouse, the cornmeal will fall on the floor. Then he will step in it and we can follow the yellow footprints. What a good idea, said Mother Mouse. The Mouse family and Cousin Elmer went to bed. See them? They're all going to bed. It was almost morning when they heard a loud noise. Father jumped out of bed. Big yellow footprints led out their door and toward the woods. Can you see the yellow footprints? Look at them. Come on, said Father Mouse. Now we must catch a robber. The Mouse family and Cousin Elmer started off through the woods. The footprints led them to a big hole under an old stone wall. Father called out, "Who lives in this hole?" It seemed like a long time before a chipmunk came out. He had a big black eye, brown fur, and very large feet. Look, the footprints lead through the woods and right up to his door. "What do you want?" he asked. "You took our Thanksgiving dinner and we want it back," Father Mouse said. "We don't have much food," said the chipmunk. "Why did you come here?" "We followed your footprints," said Mother Mouse. "Look," Tiny told the others, "there's a bit of yellow cornmeal on his foot." "I'm sorry I took your food," the chipmunk said. "It has been very cold and we have not found much to eat." "We don't have anything to eat," said Mother Mouse. "Our family in the big house is away, so there's no food for us." "I'm hungry," said Tiny. Just then Mrs. Chipmunk came out to see what was going on. "We have nothing to eat," Mother Mouse told Mrs. Chipmunk. "Please give us back our Thanksgiving dinner." "Do you think they will?" "I can't do that," said Mrs. Chipmunk. "I'm cooking dinner now." "We had some corn and a few nuts," Mr. Chipmunk added. "Please have Thanksgiving dinner with us," said Mrs. Chipmunk. "That would be lovely," said all the mice. "Thank you." "Come back at 2 o'clock, Mrs. Chipmunk told them. "I'll go home and get something I've been saving," said Cousin Elmer. The Mouse family hurried home. Mrs. Mouse cleaned up all the cornmeal. "I'm so glad we found our dinner," said Tiny. "It will be nice to share it with the chipmunk," said Father Mouse. At 2 o'clock, they knocked on the door of the chipmunk house. "Come in," said Mr. Chipmunk. "Dinner will be ready soon." Looks like a lovely meal, doesn't it? Cousin Elmer gave Mrs. Chipmunk a plate of cheese and crackers. "I've been saving these to share on a special day," Cousin Elmer told her. "Today is special," said Mr. Chipmunk. "Thanksgiving is a day for sharing," Father Mouse said. "When the snow comes and you cannot find food, please come to our house and share our food." "I'm hungry now," said Tiny. "Our dinner is ready, so let's eat," Mrs. Chipmunk said. And that's just what they did. Oh, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love you all very much and I miss you. I will hopefully see you soon and talk to you soon. I love you all. Bye.